So we have Mario from Lucom Group. Please give him a warm welcome. Space out the chairs a bit, maybe.
Yes.
And secondly, we have Jonas Kraus from Trendtours Touristic. Not secondly, last but not least. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We have about 30 minutes for the panel. I think we don't have time for questions, right? We will see how long it goes. Otherwise, please find our panelists later throughout the day if you have any specific questions. So yeah, let's maybe take a seat.
Okay. What's this? Somehow.
Yeah.
All right. So, data, product strategy in mature organizations. To kick us off, I would just like to generally ask you how your companies, beforehand. Our audience, of course, is curious to get to know you both a little bit better. So please introduce yourselves and your companies briefly.
Yeah, so I'm Jonas from Trendtours. Trendtours is a travel company. Basically, we are serving what we call best agers, so that's people 60 plus. And yeah, Trendtours is on the market for, let's say, around about 15 years in its current shape and form. We have a data team since 4 or 5 years, which in the beginning was just me and the fantastic support of Project A, which helped us build the first core of the data warehouse, and now we are a little team of 3. And I think we are doing interesting stuff, mainly in the area of marketing, sales, but also product and the normal reporting stuff, of course.
Yeah, hi, I'm Mario, working for Lucom. We have different companies selling lights online. So we have some venture, we have one big Lampenwelt group where I work, and then we have like different other companies under this Lucom group, all selling lights in different countries all over Europe. I started as a BI full stack developer, doing everything from DevOps to building the dashboards. Nowadays, my role shifted to like product owner, showing a little bit, we want to do a little bit more with data and activate it in different areas. So happy to talk to you about things we are doing a little bit.
Great, thank you so much. So now, maybe you can tell us a little bit more about how your companies look at data in general and what the expectations are.
Yeah, data. I mean, I think I'm really happy that I have at least some support, or that I have support directly from the top management. I mean, in saying we want to become, or maybe we already did some steps in the area of we want to be a data-driven company. Like that's a nice vision. And yeah, we're trying to get closer there every day. So I would say the company as a whole really started, like every department has started to actually really use data every day. I think that's a great achievement, and I think also when we talk later about data products, I think that's a base that you need to cover before you can actually convince people that it makes sense to do other things. Like if you haven't reporting covered, like people don't know what they sold yesterday, and you propose to do, I don't know, AI, they'll say, yeah, but I need that report first, Jonas, you know? So that doesn't work. You need to.
Sure, yeah, you need the base, and the reporting comes first before you experiment with these sketchy things. How does it look like at Lucom?
For us, it's also very hard, I would say, to get the management involved into that. Now we have a CIO, first time in our history, so it becomes more easy. So he does not want to have the next reports. He knows, if we have 10 more reports, nothing will change overall. And that's why we said, okay, maybe let's tackle things a little bit differently. Okay, we know we have 1 million customer questions, maybe email, WhatsApp, or whatever. And okay, we will not get better looking at the data from now onwards. So we need like more insights to that, build really customer understanding on a deeper level, and automate maybe some of the, not some, maybe most of the customer engagement should be automated, because it's always the same questions and you can find patterns. That's like how we get more budget to building now really a data platform for also like machine learning, AI, and also data activation. Just it does not need to be always machine learning. We try to get some stuff directly, like the customer can understand things on his own better.
I also think, I also think like what I basically learned, I think everybody played a little bit with one or the other machine learning model here and there, huh? And I think what you learn is you can use this model or that model or that model, and they have a little bit different accuracies, and you can tweak them. But if you have bad data, you can't tweak a model on bad data. You can, but your success rate is limited. So I think also if you model, you need well-modeled data before you can actually succeed. And if you have a good data model, that also speeds up any development that you do further. You don't have to fix all these bugs later. Like
it's your basis. Can you tell us maybe outside of reporting what these use cases are that you are working on machine learning?
Sure, yeah. So yeah, we have a couple of products. I would say one of the first and one of the most successful ones is, we call it AIM. It's basically a loyalty model, and it tells us for every known customer that we have, how probable it is that this customer will buy in the next year. And that's a good ground model for basically everything we do in targeting or also for forecasting. So that's one thing. We use it for targeting.
And that's established, and was this something that you were involved in building as well? And like, how was the process to get there?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that's really, I would say, that's established. We use it every week in production. That's really helpful. And I would say. It was a long ride. We have this for quite some time. I think it's important to. I think also the person who talked before said this. Right. You need to start with a very small model. Yeah, crank it out in 4 weeks. That's really good advice. Crank it out. Do some tests in production. I mean, you can't probably risk your whole P&L on that, but yeah, do actual tests in production in real life and get real feedback and use that to iterate. And I think this also helps to cut this, not like you have a day-to-day reporting to do. Yeah, you have all these dashboards. People say, I want to know this, I want to know that. How do you make the time to work on something like that? Well, you take some time. Of course, you have to have the support to work on that. But it's easier to have a 4-week project where you crank out something in 1 or 2 days a week on the side, than to have your management agree to a 3-month big project with 3 people.
So building data products is something that you are including as an ongoing project also during your other responsibilities?
Well, now that they are in production, it's ongoing work, yes. But to start it, I think you need to advertise this. You need to kind of say, you need to say, this is a little project. It doesn't take a lot of time. We want to try this out, and then you have to do good things and talk about it. And you'll have to fail oftentimes, I guess. I mean, typically it doesn't work. You have to somehow make the time to have multiple experiments. I think your success rate increases with the number of experiments you do, not with the quality of the experiments. Don't do one big experiment and then wasn't successful. Better do multiple
kind of that agile approach that we know from software engineering. What about you? What kind of use cases do you have outside of reporting?
Yeah, we basically first of all provide different data sets, KPIs maybe to improve processes. So first of all, like the return rate for products, we publish just for the Kafka, our ESB system, and then different backend engineers can just collect the data without any hard integration to our system. So they can use for the pricing, maybe also for the inventory prediction, like how much stock do we need from certain kind of products. We use different SaaS applications for that, so we will not build all machine learning models ourselves. So for some we use different tools, and then my team doesn't have to do all the integrations. But also we do like getting data back to Salesforce for B2B. Then you can have like the history, maybe also some prediction for the customers, and then B2B can target this person first or so. It's like a small use case, but
so the end user there is your internal team, or
yeah. Basically, we're doing stuff for internal team right now. We are refactoring all the shop landscape, so not to do anything there. Therefore, we use some tools. We just bought it. Now, in the future, probably our team will have some more input, thinking maybe about having like a similarity image carousel there, where you can find products which matching maybe the style from different categories and so on. Thinking about that. And also we can reuse that model maybe also for the category management. So maybe they find some Google Trends data and they want to know, okay, do we have products in our inventory which are similar to the trends we find, or we have them not? So then there's new potential. So we can also help like some business departments with like the same basic algorithm can be used maybe for different kinds of use cases. So my role is also a little bit to go to stakeholders and provide them some ideas, like how we can maybe use now the models we created. Maybe is it data science model or just data to improve their processes.
I think that's also a pattern that I found very helpful. Like if you have tried to combine. Better try to build smaller models that are building blocks that you can combine together. Like when you like Agile, Agile tells you basically do little slides and then you don't have like the big plan. But I think it's important to keep in mind or to try to build little things, but that you can build on top. Like if you build little things all the time and then throw them away and build little things all the time, then you're basically just staying where you are. But if you build little building blocks on top of one another in little iterations, then you can basically, so we have this loyalty model that tells us which customer will buy in the next year. And then if you combine that with campaign data, you can say, well, these products to these customers might end up in these results, and we have a forecasting system. Or you can combine that with a recommender system that I don't know if that will work in the end, but we're trying that to say basically, well, this person should be shown that ad and this person should be shown this other product.
And what kind of roles are you hiring, or like what does your team look like? What kind of skill sets do they have in order to build these types of products?
I think we are a comparably small team. Like really started like the whole data warehouse build-up process was just me with great support of Project A, and then we hired the second employee back there, our senior data engineer, I would say. I think that's crucial. You need to have. I'm really in favor of hiring few people, but good people. And if you have some solid persons, and then we have another data engineer and a business analyst. That's the whole team right now. And I think once you have senior people, at least one senior person in the team, you can hire like junior people, that are just starting out, and that can work. But I would not say, if you have the choice, you should first start with somebody who really is also good in software engineering. Yeah, your question.
Yeah, makes sense. I wanted to pass it on to Mario. What does it
for my team is more like full stack for everybody. So like obviously a data engineer does not know too much data science, and data scientist does not know like how to get data back into a system. But like if they're working a little bit on the same stuff, like a little bit Terraform also for the data scientist, they understand a little bit, okay, I put the secrets in there. And data engineer also knows a little bit about feature engineering for machine learning. I think that's a good combination for us at least. Yeah. As we are not Google, we will not build like the next deep learning algorithm ourselves. Maybe try a little bit around, yeah, but of course, yeah, we are like just an e-commerce company. Yeah, I would not assume we are changing the world, I would say.
I think that's also very, very good advice. There's so much already built. Don't reinvent the wheel. Yeah. Just use pre-built stuff, and if you then have a good reason to say, well, this doesn't work, I want to build it myself, that might be an argument. But definitely start with pre-built stuff. Just stitch it together, see how it works, and get real feedback.
Yeah, we tried with Martin like years ago. There's this model for cats and dogs for images. You just put it for lights. It works like 95%. It's good. Yeah, there's nothing much you have to do yourself. Yeah.
Where did you find the model? Where did you find it?
I think it's just open source. You can find a lot of models there. Yeah, and also like my team's understanding. Okay, yeah, real world data science does not look like the thing they will be promised somewhere. And some people also enjoy it now, like to build a little bit architecture, and other people's maybe enjoy more on talking to business stakeholders, maybe like for Amazon, our Amazon marketplace activities. Yeah, we have someone who's himself a little bit into that FBA, tried it out in Corona times. Maybe now we can build with him a little bit automation for that process, as we don't find also people for certain processes. I think maybe it's the time to automate some, not jobs, but yeah, maybe you don't need 5 people to manage that, only like 1 or 2 if you provide some insights, forecasts, etc. So they business always like going to the market business, give me some forecast, we want to grow, and then if we have like a solid forecast and say, okay, it's not feasible to grow so much, then I think he will be happy, because we don't have discussions with management, and then also maybe provide some category optimization for him. Then he does not need a category management full time. Maybe we can share with different of our sales channels. I think that's like how we want to put it into production more and more.
So when you go about prioritizing different possibilities of products, is there any particular strategy that you pursue if you have different options?
Oh yeah, that's hard. So basically, like we have a lot of need in customer service. They're just putting in more agents, but at the end it will not get better, because there's always a lack of communication, and this agent does it like that, this agent does it like that. At the end, the quality will decrease. I think everybody understands that. And then, if you build something which is more like automated, I guess quality can increase. At the first, maybe not, but over time we can increase some value there.
I think humans are really fascinating animals. I think humans, if they really try hard, they can think out really complex decisions and make really. On the other hand, on the simplest things, humans behave totally stupid. like they really, you could say they are really dumb. Including myself. So, but that basically is a good clue on where to use AI. I mean, why don't you just automate all those little dumb decisions that the humans still get wrong? Yeah, just if you just automate the dump decisions, that's pretty easy to do. You can scale it because they're done like customer service. You have hundreds of agents, or I mean, tens of agents maybe. I don't know. They have to. I'm just making up things, but I'm trying to say look for yeah, simple decisions that do take some effort, where you have data available, and if you can automate that and put it, that's much better than if you try to yeah, automate like the real brain work that humans do. Because actually, if humans do take the time, they can actually do some things well.
Yeah. For example, for translation, we have one translation manager. We have like 20 languages, and then we just use DeepL and Google AI, and gives us like really good results. Maybe like for the headline, sometimes you need to check it, but basically we are just putting that out in the real world from there, and most of the time it just works out. So you have we have like so many shops, and when we have now new Hungary shop, we just get translations in, and there's no one translation manager. Basically, that's it for all the shops we have in different countries. It works quite well. Yeah.
So so is it that most of the data products that you're building is for internal teams or like internal use cases, or is there anything that where you would say this is where data is also customer facing? You mentioned the image recognition.
That is not built yet.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
But that's
Maybe,
harder, right? I could imagine.
Yeah. So our shop is not modular enough. Maybe the new shop will be, so we can put that better in there. And yeah, we have like now adopting HR. Before, like management were like pushing everybody, and then it's not too easy to get new ideas in. And hopefully in the future it will be more customer facing, also more interesting for me to build something more customer facing like you do. Yeah, but also like you said, hard to get like real feedback then. Yeah, is it really working? And you can do some A/B testing. Probably the idea with the countries will be very good. Like, yeah. put it maybe into like France or so first. That's not our biggest market. Then Germany later also. Yeah. Of course, people act differently in those countries. We have to account that, but I think we have to do that. Or what we started is to check for search terms. Is it more for B2B or B2C? So we can maybe increase like the ad bidding on certain terms, because we understand, okay, B2B customers will be there, and over the long time it will be a good investment for us. Or also then create better landing pages. But yeah, therefore we need also some engineering for the shop. It cannot be done with the data team only. Yeah, but yeah, try to have some new ideas, and yeah, maybe also create some business value, not only cost for getting some reports out nobody will ever check and get some ideas from. Yeah.
That's can be also difficult to measure at times,
yeah.
But definitely important. So how, I think we have a bit more than 5 minutes left, but how do you go about convincing management with any bigger ideas that you have, and do you have any examples there that you can tell us?
Yeah, I think your first, like, I think if you let's say you're in a position, you have some reporting is kind of covered, you have somehow solid data structure, and you just want to build something, some products. I think these are prerequisites. You have to cover them. And now you feel like, yeah, I have this idea, I want to do that, and how do I convince management? I would say try to build like a lighthouse project first that can show like it does work and you're capable to do it. And yeah, I think you increase your chances to get buy-in from management if you don't say, well, it'll take half a year and the whole team, and you won't get, it's really hard to convince them. So yeah, really do a very, very small thing and cut it in half, but build it completely, full stack, and get some, and you have to present it in a way so that your management can understand it. So basically you have to say, that's the cost, that's the benefit, that's the profit we made in just 4 weeks. And if you can get this done, then you can do the next slide, and you're basically on the way to get there.
Nice.
Yeah, I can't answer that too easy. It's hard, and sometimes, yeah, there will be, obviously, there needs to be some change in some things. Then you don't need even to convince someone. But yeah, we cannot just build stuff from our own. We try to do like data-driven customer profiles, but nobody really adopted it. So it was a little bit sad for us because it looked a little bit promising. But yeah, if the customer people are not convinced to do it, then management also will not convince them. So we also need the buy-in from the stakeholders.
Yeah, that's a good point. So
yeah.
If you have anything that you do, we are doing the mailing selection in our team directly, which allows us, so we don't need to work with anybody largely. So we can just use, so that was easy. Of course, if you, what we build as data people typically is something that other people use. So whatever you do, you need to convince that other people to use it, otherwise it won't work, right? So I guess a good first project, a lighthouse project, would be something where you have as few stakeholders as possible, just to get something into production. I think you need one thing that works, that you can advertise, and then you can get rolling.
Yeah, also try to get to some more data-affine persons who like to work with data. Then it's easier. Like B2B, okay, they really check maybe for their data. B2C, maybe not check too much for the data they have, and then let's start with that use case, and then you can maybe. Okay, then they tell me, yeah, why don't we have that for B2C and Salesforce? I said, yeah, we had that, we put it away because nobody really checked that, and was uploading like 1 million rows per day or per week, and nobody really cared about it. Then we stopped that, and now then management said, okay, yeah, that is useful. Like sometimes, yeah, it takes longer to, and maybe they have to have the ideas themselves. So don't sell your ideas. Maybe you have to put. Like you put in some dots, and then they have to connect them themselves, like some manipulation, but other way it will not work. So I explained stuff like 1 year, and maybe now they understand it because they have like now a different history, some new dots coming up. Then it's okay. It was not my idea, but at the end we will do something, then it's better for my team.
Now that you say that, I remember. I'll be short. That's the perfect. Just keep talking about it, rambling about it on the coffee break and something like get the idea out. One day somebody will come to you and say, Jonas, I have this great idea. And then you build it for them. That's perfect.
It's really funny that resonates also with our audience, it looks like. Planting the seed in the head. Great. I think. We covered a lot of different topics around data products. So what are the use cases around other than reporting, and how can you build those? How can you define and prioritize them? How do you convince management, and what kind of people do you need to build them? So let's give a quick round of applause for Mario and Jonas. We can maybe take a couple of questions from the audience.
Yeah, thank you very much for the talk. It was really insightful listening to you guys. I had a question around putting out small things and refining, and Carolus mentioned this as well. It sounds like a great idea, but there are some negatives to it. What do you think are the negatives, and how do you manage those?
Well, I would never say never. I would avoid as much as possible to automate things that are kind of sensible, like who gets the job or who is supposed to. Like these are things. It's really not necessary to go into these fields unless it's really necessary. It's better to like it's an automated decision afterwards, right? And it will be full of shit, and you would you will not, like, it's hard to inspect why it's doing things. So to try to keep this short, just just automate the boring stuff that really, I mean, what ad a customer gets is basically, if it's wrong, then yeah, that's a little bit, that's not too bad. Yeah. That's not an ethical question, I would say. So yeah, and I think also if you automate the stuff that people hate to do, you're doing only good. You know? If you automate the stuff that people love to do, you can still think about it, but think about this twice. There's so much you can do. Why don't you do this first?
And from my side, maybe why shouldn't stakeholders check the thing you give to them? So like if you get a purchase recommendation, they will check it and will say, okay, that does not look good, for example. Yeah, and then you have to redefine it first before it will be automated. So people will not trust your data. They will check, okay, from their own reports if that looks good. So from my understanding, it will not be too easy. So there will be negatives, yes, but I think people will not trust you first, and then you have to prove them wrong, and then it's okay.
Thanks. And have you got any tips for damage control?
Damage control. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the usual. Yeah, you need to build in monitoring. You know, just like any other software. In the end, it's just software. It's just software that's written in a different way. And how do you know your website is down? You have monitoring.
Yeah, or maybe have some rules, like margin should not be underneath or above something. Yeah. At the end, so you can do some prediction, and then before you automate it, yeah, then say, okay, yeah, it does not look good if it's like above that issue or underneath that issue. If you have some like scale, but for other things I don't know, like we need to work on that as well. Yeah, so it's not like we are experts. We try to become. Yeah.
Kirill had some quite good ideas on which metrics work.
Any other questions?
All right, thanks again.
Also, I think Biro had a question, and then we can.
Thank you very much. It was very interesting. At some point, you were saying, sorry, that it's better to try a lot of models rather than spending a lot of time in one and in the perfect one. What do you think is the threshold for quality? And do you have a framework for saying, okay, we check ABC and then it's good to go?
I think the threshold for quality is if you can successfully and honestly, more or less honestly, mostly honestly, put together a PowerPoint to your management that says we spent this, we made that kind of profit, and if we increase this, if we make this better, we'll make tons of money. It needs to, yeah, you need to do that. So if it's good enough to actually make money, it's good enough. I mean, there's all sorts of metrics, ROC, AUC, accuracy, whatever. You use that internally for your own, but in the end, that's the threshold you have to pass, I would say.
Nice. It has an element of working backwards, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.